Alright, everyone, welcome to Deep Dives with Dogs. Well, today's topic is the Spanish American War, and more the start of the Spanish American War, and maybe a little bit of the aftermath of it. Not a very long war, kind of a contentious war, mostly because of how it started, too. Um, the Spanish American War starts with the sinking of the USS Maine, which the USS Maine is reportedly was blown up by the Spaniards, which led to the U.S. declaring war, and then the Spanish also declaring war. Now, is there some truth in this? Well, the Maine did blow up. Was it the Spanish? Probably not. More than likely, actually, no. Um, what I know a lot of current theories is that the Maine actually blows up from a boiler blowing up and then blowing up the munitions all in the boat. It's a lot of the main theory. Uh, who knows, though? Who knows? Maybe the Spanish did do it. It was an inside job. They blew up the boiler. Big if true. Um, but yeah, this is a pretty important war for a few nations, and then their subsequent relations with the United States, you could say. For instance, out of the end of this war, the United States acquires Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines while getting a protectorate on Cuba. Um, Now, Puerto Rico and Guam are still owned by the United States today. Technically, Puerto Rico is a territory. It's not necessarily owned by, but it is under the jurisdiction of the United States. It's a semi-autonomous nation. I know some people believe it is a state. It is not. They could, if Congress allows them, they could vote to become a state if they would like, but that has not happened, and seemingly it's not going to happen anytime soon. Sadly for them. Hey, maybe they don't want to be, um, and obviously the Philippines eventually gets their independence during a little bit after the Second World War. Technically, it was supposed to happen before it, but maybe, maybe. But and Cuba. Well, we know how Cuba is with relation to the United States today. Uh, this war, it really didn't last too long. It was only a few months, which kind of makes sense. By this point, the Spaniards are not the mighty empire they were 400 years, or well, I guess more like 200 years before this war. Um, it's just, it's just really, just happens, you know. And this war also, and this is pretty close to the 20th century, which a lot of people don't even think about. You know, they hear this war and they think of like, oh, well, this is something that happened. They hear it was in the 1800s. It's like, oh, it was in the 1800s. You know, that was a long time ago. And yeah, sure, compared to today, now it is. But people in the First World War were in living memory. People within the Second World War, people would have had grandparents that would have talked about, oh yeah, I remember, or even parents would have talked about, oh yeah, I remember when we went to war with Spain. Yeah, it's really a weird, you know, we can't even really imagine it because it's only like, it's about the 1890s, so it's a really like close war in proximity to those things that we don't really think about it. But it is a big deal. Spain, this is kind of really their twilight send-off. After this, they kind of lose a lot of the power that they were kind of known for. And by this point, they're very similar to a paper tiger, where it's looks scary but really isn't. Kind of like the Ottomans, actually. The Ottomans are right there with them, where they are an empire in name and strength only. They are not really a massive, mighty empire like they maybe once were. I mean, to be fair, the Spanish were never necessarily the strongest power, but they were still a very powerful nation at one point. But by this point, just not really. Um, and this is kind of that send off for them. Uh, it's it's interesting to think what would have happened, let's say, if the Spaniards had won this war. Would it have staved off their um, de- decay? Would they have participated maybe in the First World War more directly? You know, it's hard to say. What side would they have been on? That's a big what if. But yeah, and also something about this war too. It does give somewhat of an idea of what the next war will be like, because I mean it's so close to the First World War. Like a lot of wars before at this point, people are just taking more and more notes on, okay, well what will the next war be like? The next big war. Come on, what will the next war? What is modern war like? And you have a lot of these instances of these where these individuals really see what a modern war is. They maybe don't know everything because there's still things that they're not gonna see quite yet, but they will at least get somewhat of an idea as to what a modern war is. But that's all for this video. If you liked the video, leave a like below. If you have any comments on how I can improve these videos or what you even thought about the topic, let me know. I always appreciate comments. And as always, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you.